So what is MongoDB? As we know, MongoDB is just non-relational database. We don't have table in non-relational database. We have something called collections. And now we will go through all of them, collection, and then we have document everything. But what is important for now here is just comment on the root call issue. I have only 11, still missing 5. And later on, you can also create your check-in for the new module here, as you can see. Okay, so I'm assuming that you already installed. So let me go here. That's not what I want to. If I go to NoSQL here, and if I go to setup, and I'm assuming you already have an account on MongoDB Atlas, and that will be as a cloud here. So this MongoDB Atlas allow you to create some database on the cloud, and like that you will be able to access them from everywhere. So they will be available online, but you need to have an account on MongoDB Atlas. So I think you already have an account. I ask you to do it. The second one here, we will need the server here. Just like MySQL, we need the server on our local machine. Also, MongoDB, we will need a server on our local machine. To install this server, of course, we have different servers. Some of them are paid, some of them are for free. So MongoDB Community Server Edition, it's for free. And that's the reason. So if you click on this one here, it will take you to this stuff here. Depending on your operating system, you just need to install it, and that's it. After that, of course, when you install a MongoDB server, you will need a Compass. And what is Compass? It's just a GUI graphical user interface allow us to see our database in MongoDB, which is actually quite nice. So all you have to do also, you need to click on this one here, and it will take you to this guy here, MongoDB Compass. And here you need to define what is your operating system. So mine is Mac, as you can see. Yours, you can choose whatever you want to, Windows or stuff like that, and then you can install it. And when you install it, of course, you will have this MongoDB Compass. So I'm assuming you already have all these stuff already. You'd already installed them because they're prerequisite. And now what we need to do here first, let's go to our Compass. Now, when you go to Compass here, you don't need to add any connection or anything. You just say connect, only connect. After that, it will show you here, as you can see, the different database you have. So of course, in MongoDB here, now we are connecting locally, as you can see, localhost, and the port is 27,017. That's the default port for MongoDB. Just for MySQL, it was like, I think it was, I'm not sure, it was 316 or 60 something. Yeah, it was 3,316. And for MongoDB, the default port is 27,017. You don't need any connection. So when you open the Compass, you just say connect without entering anything. Just connect, then you will see your database. Now, of course, by default, you are with me, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
By default, when you create, when you open your Compass, you will have admin, you will have config, and you will have a local. So these three databases, it will be just like MySQL. If you remember, we have admin and stuff like that. It will be automatically there. Of course, I've created two databases here. I have demo and I have books. I'm going to delete books. So when you want to delete any database, it's super simple. All you have to do, just type. So we say drop. So I have this stuff here. If I hover over it, as you can see, I can click here, add another collection. And collection here, there are like tables here. That's the database, as you know, and I can add more collection. I already have two collection, books and user, but now I want to delete it. So I will click on this one. It will ask me enter books to make sure that I want to delete it. One drop database, it's gone. For the demo here, well, I want to delete demo as well. And voila, like that, I have no any database anymore. Okay, so first now I need to create a database. So to create a database here, what I can do, if I go here and hover over this one, as you can see, I can just click on this plus and I can create my database. So I will just name it demo. And here, when I create my database normally in SQL, when you have a database, after that, you will have a lot of table inside this database. Well, in MongoDB, it's quite close. So when I create my database, I will have something called collections. So collection, you can just imagine the collection are similar to tables. They're not really tables. They're like JSON, but I mean, for example, we have user collection, we will have books collection. So they are equivalent in SQL to tables. And when I create any database, it will tell me, okay, at least mention one collection. So I will go with users, for example, not for now users. Well, and as you can see, simply I've created a new database and I have one collection here, which is user. Of course, when I'm using the graphical tool Compass here, as you can see, I can add data if I want to. I can update data, I can delete data, I can see the data here as an object, because in MongoDB, it's very similar to a JSON. Yeah, that's why we make it really nice to when we use it with Node, because Node is JavaScript, and in JavaScript most of the time we use JSON. So yeah, here's the data here. It will not be table. It will be just like JSON. It will be really easy to deal with them in JavaScript. Okay, now what I can do here? Well, I can add some data if I want to. So if I click on this one, I can now import JSON, or if I have any file, or I want to insert a document. So what is a document? Well, a document here, so we know what's collection. A collection is equivalent to table. If you remember, in the table, we have column and we have rows. We have different records. So we have user with ID 1, user with ID 2, user with ID 3, user with ID 4. Well, here, document is just like one row. Well, if I click on it here, as you can see, MongoDB automatically, it will add the ID for me here. So every time I create any document, which will be like a row document here, it will automatically create an ID for me. And of course, I can remove this one here. I don't need it for now. I can remove this one here as well. But when I insert it, so now here, it's just like normal, it's just like JSON, as you can see. So I have curly brace here. And because my collection is user here, I will need, for example, I will need email. So let's try to add one document here. And the email here, for example, I will say sam@gmail.com. And of course, now I need to add comma. And here, what else I want for the user? Well, I need email, I need password. And here, as you know, we will never store the password as in this form. So I need to hash my password. But for now, I will just add dummy password, just to show you how can we add a record. And I think for us, these two properties should be enough. Do I have something called beautify? Anyway, now let's try to insert. And now when I insert, as you can see, now I insert a new record. So I'm sorry, new document. And this document, as you can see, it has a unique ID. So MongoDB automatically creates this unique ID. We have by something called object ID. So object ID is unique identifier. MongoDB makes sure that this object ID or this ID is unique. And in MongoDB, it will create automatically an ID, but we don't name it ID. It's actually underscore ID. You need to remember this one. So whenever you try to get anything by ID, we don't have ID in MongoDB. It's underscore ID. That's how MongoDB works. So I cannot change it. It is like that. Well, now I've created one document. As you can see on this document, I can see it in many multiple stuff. So I can see it this way. By the way, here, as you can see, I can edit it if I want to. I can here copy it. And here I can clone it if I want to. I can delete it if I want to. And I can update it if I want to. So I can do a lot of stuff here. Also, I can, if I click on this one here, I can see it, as you can see. So it will show me as a JSON here, just like an object. If I click on this one here, it will show me, of course, we don't have table, as I told you, we don't have table on MongoDB. But if I click on this option here, it will show me as a table, just like that, because we already familiarized with SQL database. And now here, when we come to NoSQL, sometimes it's difficult to understand what we are doing. But if you click on this option, it will show you as a table, like that. But this is just a visual look here. In reality, MongoDB do not store as a document, stores the document as a JSON. That very, actually it's JSON, but it's very similar to JSON, something like that. You don't have to worry about that. So at any point here, you can add as much as you want to, that's fine. Also, what you can do here, as you can see, say type a query. And here, what I can do, I can filter some stuff if I want to. So how can I filter anything? Well, this compass allow me to do very nice stuff. Let's say I have 10 users. The problem, I don't have 10 users now. If I have 10 users and I want to filter with let's say with the user with email Sam. So what I can do, I can just say email like that, notice, and it will help me. And I want the email to be what? I want the email to be sam@gmail.com, for example. And now when I hit find, of course, I have only one stuff here, as you can see. So it's normal, it will show me this user only. But if I have multiple user here, and we will see that now, we will try to add a lot of user now. If I have multiple user here, so what this one is doing here, I'm here filtering. I'm saying, okay, I want you to find me the document. So those are document. You need to remember this name. So it will find me the document where the email is sam@gmail.com. But now if I came here and I change it to John, for example, as you can see, I don't have any user with email John. So if I try to find it here, it show me nothing. Why? Because it try to filter it, it cannot find any user with email john@gmail.com. But if I try with Sam again, of course, we have one user. So what I can do here, find, it will help me to find. Now, this graphical tool, or what we call simply Compass, it's very nice. Why? Because it's allow me to see all my data bases, allow me to see all my collection, it allow me to see all my document. I can see them many different form. If I click on this one here, it will show me just as one record like that, as you can see. If I click on this one, it show me as a JSON. Click on this one here, it will show me even as a table, as you can see. On the table here is user and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can find, as I told you, so I can pass some filter here in a, and it will filter my document and find the document I need. Of course, I can add data, I can update data to any point, I can delete, it's totally up to me. That should be fine. Now, what I really want here now, this graphical to this GUI is very nice, but we also can add document, we can create database, we can create collection, we can do a lot of stuff also using a terminal. And if you remember, in MySQL, we use the terminal, right? So in MySQL, we use the terminal, we just log in to specific user, which is root, for example. And after that, I can just say, for example, create database, the name of database. Well, I can do the same here in MongoDB. But how can I do that? Well, I can just see, you see, we have something called Open MongoDB Shell. So MongoDB Shell, we call it Mangoosh or MongoDB Shell, whatever you want to call it. All I have to do, I need to select my database, the database I want to. And after that, I can open this guy here. And when I open this guy, as you can see, it's automatically here, it show me my database because I selected my database, then I open MongoDB Shell. Now, MongoDB Shell is quite nice, actually. Why? Because I have some command, and this command, it will help me to deal with my my collections and my documents. Okay, so we now first, let's start with some terminology. What is the database? Currently, we are using database called demo. So as you can see here, that's a demo. So if I type DB, and the reason why I'm doing it here, because it will give me autocomplete stuff. So as you can see, when I type something, it gives me autocomplete, which is nice. I can also do that from my own terminal here, but it will not give me any suggestion. And that's the reason why I use it inside the Compass. So I'm using the Mangosh inside Compass because it will give me a suggestion. So if I type just DB, it will just show me the current database I am using, which is demo. Can anyone tell me what is a database? It is very similar to SQL. What is database? What is a database? Oh, come on, guys. What is a database? In SQL, what was the database in SQL? What's the problem with you guys?
A
What is
collection.
it?
Columns and row that collect
So,
data.
so a database is simply like a container. It's like a box, and inside this box, if I take MySQL, it includes a lot of tables. That's simply how what is database here. So a database contains a lot of tables. That's it. It's a box, it's a container, and it includes a lot of tables that is in SQL. But now, if I go to MongoDB here, and in MongoDB, the database simply, it's also a box, but I will have multiple, I will not have table here. I told you in MongoDB, we don't have table, but we have something else. What is this something else? What do we call them? Collections, so simply. So a collection is equivalent to a table in SQL database, simply like that. So a database first, it's just a container, it's a box, and inside this box we could have multiple collection. What are collection? Well, if I go to my demo here, as you can see, that's a collection. It's equivalent to table in SQL, simply like that. What is a document? So a document here, again, if I go to, let's go to user here, and let's just see it this way, just as a JSON. So what is a document? So a document here, as you can see, it's like one user. And if you remember in the table, if we go to the table, notice here, I have user with ID 1. And then I can have user with ID 2, and user with ID 3, user with ID 4. That was in SQL. Well, in NoSQL, simply a document is just, it will be one row. It's just like one row. It's one record. It's one user, depending on my collection name. So it's just one record, simply like that, or one row. Is the idea clear? Yes, no? Yes?
Yeah, yes.
Good. After that, we have field, and you may tell me, what is field here? Well, as you can see, in NoSQL, we have our data here. So in the document, our data is being stored as a JSON. So we have key value, key value, key value, as you can see. So a field, we call each one of those, we call them a field. A field simply is just a key value. That's it. So any key and value, we call it a field, simply like that. That in MongoDB. I will repeat it very quickly. So in MongoDB, we have something called database. It's very similar to SQL. A database simply here, it will be a container, a box for multiple collection. You need to remember here, we don't have table in NoSQL, we have collection. So a collection simply is equivalent to table on SQL. Okay, now in the collection, we could have multiple documents. But what is a document? Well, a document simply, it's like one row, one record. Here, because now my collection is user, I have one user here. So normally in SQL, we will have it this way. So we will have it as a row, as you can see, row 1, row 2, rows 3, user 1, user 2, something like that. Well, in MongoDB, simply we just call it documents, that's it. And of course, we can have multiple documents, you know that. After that, we have a field. Why we have a field? Because simply each document in NoSQL, it's as you can see, it's JSON, and because it's JSON, we have key value, or it's very similar to JavaScript object. So we will have key value, key value. Now each key and value, we call it field, simply like that. Yes. Yes. No.
Yes.
Great. Now let's go now to, after we know some of these names here. Now let's go and try to go to Mangosh and try to learn some basic command. So if I want to see all the database, I can just say show DB, and notice it give me suggestion here. So show DBS, and if I say DBS, click, and it will show me all my database. I have admin, and also it will show me the size, 14 kilobyte, 108. I have demo and I have local. So to see all the current database I have, I can just say only show DBS. And notice here, I don't have to end my query here or my command here with semicolon. In SQL, I must do that. Here, let's try to do it, and I think if you do it, you will get an error, but let's see. No, you don't get anything, so you really don't need here. So if you add semicolon or you don't add semicolon, it will not make any difference here in NoSQL. But in SQL, it will make a big difference. You know that. Okay. To see all these database, as you can see, well, I can simply Yeah, I can simply just say show DP here. Fine. What if I want to use a specific database? Well, I want to use, for example, admin. Well, to use admin, all I have to do, I just say use. And as you can see, is auto suggestion is use admin. I can now choose any database I want to. And now here, notice what will happen. So it's been switched. And now here I can see that the current database is admin. Of course, I don't want to select admin. I don't want to use admin. I just want to show you. That's it. I want to use demo. And now here I've switched to demo. So that's how I can select a specific database, simply like that. Now, if I want to clear the screen here, as you can see, I have a lot of command. I want to clear it. Well, you can just do CLS. And CLS is for clean screen. If I click on it, it will clean everything. And I've shared with you a PDF with of this command here. So you need, with the practice here, you need to remember some of these commands. Okay, I want to now, here I am inside the current database, which is demo. I want to see all the collection. And remember, the collection is equivalent to tables. Now, I'm just doing that because it's new for you, but collections simply, they are like just similar to tables. So I can just say show, and here I can say, just instead of database, I can say collection. Again, it's auto-completed for me. And I click on this one, it will show me, voila, I have one collection, which is user, as you can see. If I want to drop a database here, and I really don't want to drop this one, but if I want to drop this one, I can just say db dot drop. And again, here, as you can see here, I can just drop database like that. And this one, it's a function actually. So I need to use it this way. And yeah, if I click enter now, it will delete this database here. Or you can use a graphical tool, simply just click on this one, delete. I don't want to excuse this command because I don't want to really drop my database here. But if you want to drop the database, just db, that means the current database, dot drop database. And this one, it is functions, that's why we use parentheses. Okay, and voila, that's it. If you want to, at any point, to exit Mangosh or Mango shell, you can just type exit and enter, and it will be exit. But I don't want to exit, of course. Voila. That's fine. So what do I want to do now? Well, as you can see here, now I already have a user. So what I want to do, I want to add some other users. So currently I have one user, but now I want to add one more user. For example, let's say John, because currently I think I have some. So if I go here to my users here, as you can see, I have some. I want to add another user here or another document. So in order to do that, so how can I do that? Well, it's quite simple, actually. I can just say db. All the time I will start with db dot. And what is dp here? What is the name of the collection? What is the name of my collection?
Users.
What is an user? So I will just type users, as you can see, and it will auto-complete it for me, of course. And then here I can just say dot insert. So as you can see, MongoDB has a lot of function. And when I'm using it inside Compass, it will give me a lot of suggestions. It will make it much easier. And I have something called insert one. So insert one, it will allow me to insert one document, one user, one row if you want to. And I can also use insert many. And like that, I can insert many users if I want to. But for me, currently, I want to use insert one. And here, insert one, it's a function. And of course, now, if I want to insert one user, I need to create something similar to an object in JavaScript. Because this object now, after that, when I insert it here, it will be converted to a JSON. So what data do I need here when I want to insert a new user? So if I go to my user, as you can see, ID underscore ID, I don't need it because MongoDB automatically creates that. Well, I need email and I need password. That's what I want. So all I have to do here, I can just add email. And email here, I'm trying to add John. So I'll say john@gmail.com. And now I need to add the second parameter here, which will be password. And password, actually, it's not correct. Password, and voila. Password, let's add some dummy password. Again, you will never add your password this way because simply we need to hash our password. And now here, if I click on this one, I have syntax error. It looks like, what is a syntax error? Well, the syntax error, I have extra as you can see, I have extra this stuff here. So I have extra square bracket. Where the square bracket come from, I don't know. Well, I don't need square bracket. So it's just an object, as you can see. And of course, when you have a syntax error, what's really nice about Mangosh, especially when you are doing it in Compass, it will show you the error and it will show directly where's the place here. Okay, let's try to enter it. And now when I enter it, as you can see, it will return me an object. It will be acknowledged true. That means it's being created. And it will return me the unique ID. And if I want to see that, I can just click on this one. And now here I can search for refresh. Do I have refresh here? Well, that's refresh, as you can see. If I click on refresh, yeah, where is my sum? Yeah, I'm filtering this one. So let me remove this filter. If I remove this filter here, and I refresh again, what the hell is going on? Okay, it should be entered actually. No, strangely. Let's refresh again. Maybe because I'm using language. I'm not sure. Let's close this one for now. Let's close this one. Let's go to user again. Voila. And now, as you can see here, it look like when I am opening the MongoDB shell or Mangosh, it's not being added here. But if you click on refresh, as you can see now, a second document is being added. And as you can see, the first document, it was some ID, and the second one is John and blah, blah. As you can see, it's been added. I'm going back to my MongoDB. So let me select my database and let me go to this guy here. So now we learn how to add a new document into our collection. So it's very simple all the time. As I told you, I need to start with DB, and then after that, I need to which collection I am trying to add, order, or update, or delete, or get whatever. So of course, I want users. So I would user, as you can see, and then here, if I want to insert something, I have multiple options. I can insert when you type insert. I can insert one, or I can insert many. I've seen already insert one. Let's try with insert many. When I'm trying to insert many, so when I'm trying to insert many document, so what I need to do, it must be an array. So I need to create an array. Why? Because I'm trying to insert multiple documents, so it will be an array. So this format must be an array. And inside the array now, I can add whatever object I want to. So the first one here, I need to add email. And here, the email, it will be Rodica, for example, rodica@gmail.com. Of course, now I need to add the password. Again, the password here, I should never add it actually, but it's just to show you that how I can do that. And here you can just add blah, blah. That's my password, for example. But of course, now that's one document. I want to add another one. So I need to create a new object. And here I need to add the email as well. And here's the email. Let's say test whatever you want to at gmail.com. And I need now to add, after that, the password. Voila, and the password here, of course, it will be some dummy password here. Let's say, for example. Now, notice when I click enter, notice what happened here. So it returned me two unique ID. Why? Because I'm using insert many. And insert many, as I told you, it must be an array. And inside this array, I can add as much as I want to. And here, I've just inserted two, and now I have these two here. Let's hope that will work. So let's try to refresh. Voila, it works here, as you can see. Now I have Rodica and I have test here. So currently, I have four documents. Now let's show you again the filter here. So the filter is key value. For example, I want to filter the user where I want just the email, where the email, it will be, for example, Rodica, like that. So I want the email to be just rodica@gmail.com. And now, as you can see, I have four different user. And now here I'm trying to filter this one. So if I click on find, notice it will find me only the one with the correct email. So we can use here the filter. We can add multiple filter here. It's really make our now our dealing with the collection here and with the document, very nice and very easy. Let me remove this filter here so I can see all my users. So find it, show me all my users, which is nice. Let's go back here. So we've learned now how to create a new document. We've learned now how to create many documents. And most of them are very simple, actually, as you can see. Let me clean this one. So how can I clean the screen? CLS, and CLS for clean, as you know. Voila. Now, I want to be able to now to get, let's say I want to be able to get all users, for example. So what will be the command to do that in MongoDB? Well, it's quite simple as well. All the time I start with DB. Dot, what's the collection name? It's users. And here I can use here this function here, which is called find. So as you can see, find, I have find and I have find one. So find one, it will allow me to find one user. Find here, it will allow me to find or get multiple user. I can also use find one and delete, find one and replace, find one and update. So I have many different functionality in MongoDB. I am not restricted to one choice or two choices. I have multiple choices. Now here, if I did not specify anything, if I say just db user.find, and I click enter here, notice it return me all the user here, everything. Actually, the find here, it will return you the first 20. So if I just pass find here without anything, it will return me the first 20 users. Okay, what if I want to do some, so now we know how to find some specifics, that's really nice. What if I want to find, let's say, a user with specific email, so I do some filtering here. Well, let's try to do it here. Let's clear the screen, CLS, and let's go in here. Now what I want to do, I want to find a user where the email is john@gmail.com. So I want to find only this specific user. So how can I do that? Well, db, again, .users, that's my collection. And dot here, what I can do here, I can use find again, voila. But now here I will pass an object. And in this object here, that's what you call the filter object. Okay, what do I mean by filter object? Well, let's say I want the user with the email, so I need to pass the email. If I want to select the user by email, okay, what email do I want? I want john@gmail.com. So it's very similar actually to this one. If you remember here, the filtering, it's very similar to this one. Now, if I execute this query here, it will go to all my user and it will try to find all of them, but now I have this filter object. So MongoDB is go here and it will know that I have an object here and I have key and value. So it will try to find the user where the email is John, and it will only return a user with this specific email. So if I go to the end, click that, and as you can see, it return me only John, as you can see. If I don't pass any filter object, nothing inside it, it will return me all the users. So that's what I want to. But that should be okay. Fine. Now, sometime, I want to retrieve all the user, but I mean, somehow I don't want the password. I'm not interested in the password because whenever I have a user, the password, it will be hashed. And because the password is hashed, I'm not really interested in the password. Now, what I want to really return, I just want to return the email here. Can I do that with MongoDB? Well, yes, I can. How? Well, it's quite simple as well. So I can go back to this guy here. And the first object, as you know, it will be a filter object. I don't want to filter it with anything. So I want to get all users. Now, what I can do here, I can pass a second object. And this second object, that's what we call the select object, okay? So that's what we call the select object. Remember, I cannot omit this one. Why? Because the first object is for filter here. MongoDB is being created this way. So if I don't want to filter the user, I want all the user, I need to pass an empty object. If I want to filter by email, where the email is something, I need to include it here in the filter object. So the first object, we call it filter object. And filter object here, I can pass any key and value. Now, the second one here is what we call the select object. Okay, now what do I want? Which property I want? Well, I can just say email, and here I can say one. What's that supposed to mean? Well, that's supposed to mean here is to mean I want only the email here. So if the email is one, that means I want the email. If I don't say the password here, I did not make it one, so I will not see the password. So let's see the result. If I click on this one, notice I have all my users here, but I only have email. Of course, the ID, I will have it, underscore ID, underscore IDs as a unique identifier. But what I have here now for each user, I just have the email. I don't have the password because I don't want the password. Because simply, if I want the password, I need to make comma, an email is equal to one. So one mean I want you to have this value. Zero mean I don't want you to have it. Again, the value here, if email is one, I give it this value one. That means I want to see it. If the value is zero, that means I don't want to see it. And that's how we can select a specific field. So here I have two fields, email and password. As you can see, I told you the field is key and value, but I don't want, I'm not interested in the password. Well, what I can do, I can just say db user find. The first one here, I need to include this object, that's filter object. Even if I don't want to filter, I need to include an empty object. And the second one here, that's what you call select object. And now here I can select any field I want to. Email, do I want the email? Well, if I want it, I can add one. For example, let's go here and let me just clear this one, CLS. Let's go back to this one. Let's say here, I want the email and I don't want the password. Of course, if I don't want the password, I can just not include it. That's the simplest one. Or I can just type password. It will be equal to zero. Now, zero means I don't want to see it. Simply like that. What the hell's happened? Cannot do exclusion of field. Yeah, what is the problem here? On field password is in inclusion projection. Well, it's telling me, what is telling me here, okay, if you don't want the password field, why do you just add zero? Don't add zero. That's simply what's telling me. So it's just don't include it, and that's it. That's what it's telling me. Click on, still I have this field, specific field. So now, as you can see, we can use find to grab all the document, all the users. I can get it, use it to with the filter object. So the filter object, normally it will be the first object. I can use it with the filter object to get specific user if I want to. Also, I can add another object if I want to, and that's what we call the select object. Select object allow me to show different field and not show different field depending on my need. If there's any field here, I say is there one. If I want the field, I just say one. If I don't want it, I'm not gonna mention it, and that's it. Is it okay, guys? Yes, so far or no? Yes? Good. Now you need to remember something important. I cannot omit this object. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say now I just want the email here, but I don't want to filter. You may say, okay, I don't want to include this object. I can include this one object here. Well, now MongoDB will think now this object is filter object. So it will not work. You need to include this, this object. So if you don't want to add any filter here, you need to add just as an empty object. And the second one here, it will be the select object. Which field I want to see, which field I don't want to see. If I don't want to see the password, just you need to can pass it as password zero. Before the previous version, we could use password zero, but it looks like the new version is we cannot do that. So let's try again. Password, if I say zero, I think it will give me an error again. Yeah, it's just giving me an error. It's telling me cannot do exclusion on field password. It's just telling me simply if you don't want the password, don't include it, simply like that.
Or maybe it should be in another object. So like email should be in one object and password in another one.
No. This object here is selection object. So I need to mention the key and the value, That's it. But anyway, if you don't want it, you can just not include it, and that should be okay. It's even actually easier to not include it. Fine. Now we have also find one, as you know. So what is find one? I can just say again db.users because that's my collection. and dot, if I say find, I have find one. And of course, now if I say find one here, I need to pass the filter object. So for the filter object here, I need to pass one property or one key here. If I want specific user, I want either I wanted the email to be something or the password to be something. Normally, we don't deal with the password because the password is a hash password. But now here, I want the email to be what we have, for example, Rodica@gmail. So I want this email to be this one. And here, I think I can copy it. So if I go here and I paste it this way, voila. And now what's going to do here, it will only return me the user, which is Rodica here, as you can see. It's simply like filter here, but we can use find one. It will just, by the way, if you have multiple users with the same email, of course that we shouldn't allow it. But if that's the case, find one here, it will return you the first one, the first. So the first object, it finds the email match. So if you have multiple users with the same email, let's say, it will just find you the first match because I'm using find one. I'm not using find. Well, that should be okay. I want to learn something new here. So I have something called count. So what the hell is count here? Well, what I can do in count here, I can just say db again, dot users. And here I can use a function here, which is called count. Do we have count document? Yes, we do. So count document here, I think it's a function. So I need to just do this way because it's a function. And now here, count document, it will count how many documents I have. I have 4. Why do I have 4? Well, simply because I have 4 users, as you can see. I have 4 documents, 1, 2, 3, 4, as you can see. And that's the reason why it returned 4. Okay, that should be fine. Now we learn how to insert one. In our case here, because we are dealing with user collection, we learn how to insert a user. We learn how to insert one or insert many. We learn how to find all the users, and we can use also filter object. Also, we can use also select object to select specific field. Also, we can find one. And we also learned something called count document. As count document here, it's just a function. It will tell me how many documents do I have in this collection, which is user. Now, we can also do something called update, which is, of course, that's something we need to do. We can do update, we can do delete. And now we will see after that some little bit complex filters, which they are quite really important. So yeah, let's do the update first here. For update, we have update one, and also we have update many. Also, we have replace. We have a lot of function in MongoDB. Not all the time we use all of them, but let's try to do something here. So what I can do here, I can just say, for example, db.users, like that. And here I can just say dot update. If I say update, as you can see, I have update one and update many. I normally should avoid update many because normally when we update one, but you can do that if you want to. Okay, now here, the first object, I need to include inside it an object so I can see it. Yeah. So the first object here is that what will be the filter object. Okay, I want to update a specific user, but I need to pass some field depending on what, where the email is John, for example, john@gmail.com. So now what's going on here, it will go here, it will try to now to update this specific user where the email is john@gmail.com. And now here, of course, now I can add some different property if I want to. Now, if I want to add, change, let's say the email, how can I change the email? Well, to change the email, I can pass a second object. And now that's something important here. I need to use some, we have something called matcher here. All the matcher here or all the object, which are very useful, they start with $. All of them, they start with $. So what do I need to do here? Well, I can use $. Notice $set, and $set here. I know here, well, I can create a new object, and now here I can add any value. Now here, let's say I want the email to be jack@gmail.com, for example. Voila. And here I can update the password if I want to. And the password here, I want it to be Jack1234, something like that. So what we are doing here? Well, what we are doing here from DP, from our collection user, I want to update one specific user because I'm using update one. Well, now I need to pass a filter here in this object filter so I know which user to update. Well, I'm telling here, I want you to update the user when the email is john@gmail.com. And now here I need to pass the second object here. It will be the new value I'm trying to update. And to update any value here, I can use, I don't remember what we call those. I think we call them, I'll check it now, but we have, what do we call them? I don't remember what we call them, but what you need to know here, all of them, they start here. Yeah, the function, something like that. Here's the modifier function, but all of them start with $sign. And now here, if I want to update this object, which I am trying, which I grab now here, I need to use a $sign set, and set here, now I need to pass a new value, and set here, that will be the key. The value here, it will be an object, which is a new value. So email here, email, it's correct, jack@gmail.com. And if I want to update the password, I can update the password. If I click on this one, and as you can see here, it returns me acknowledge true. And now here it will be inserted ID. I did not add a new ID because what I did here, I modified the count. Well, so modify count one, that means I just modified one user. So if I want to see my changes here, I can just go back to user. Remember, I modified John here. So if I now try to refresh here, as you can see now I have jack@gmail.com, and also the password has been changed. So in MongoDB, that's how we update a specific document. Again, db.user.update one. I can update many, but I think it will be better all the time to stick with update one. Update one, I need to pass the first object here, which will be the filter. Here, I need to pass any property. In my user here, or in my user collection, I just have email and password. So I'll go with the email. I want the email to be this one. And now here, MongoDB knows that it will update this specific user with this email. Okay, now what if I want to add a new value? I want to change the email. I want to change the password. I want to change the name if I have. Well, I need to add the second object, as you can see, and I can use this here, this function here. And this function, all of them, we have a lot of functions. All of them are very useful. All of them start with $sign. So now if I want to set a new value here, I can just say $sign set. And then here, this will be the key. And this is the value here. I can pass my email with a new email, the password with a new password. I don't have to update all of them, by the way. I can update one of them. And if I do so, of course, it will go to this specific user. It will update the email with a new value. It will update also the password with a new value. Is the idea clear here, guys, or not? Yes,
Yeah.
no?
Is it case sensitive?
What do you mean case sensitive? Email here like that?
It's like if it's uppercase, so it doesn't matter? So if we put email John and it will be uppercase, it will find John?
Well, let's try. It's actually, I think that it does the uppercase, the lowercase, it does matter actually. But let's try it. Let's do that. And here I'm going to do John all uppercase. So if I say John, and let's try to do this one. Let's see if it will work or not. Clicky. Or actually, it's not. No, it did not work, Agnieszka. So as you can see, the modified count 0.
No, because we already have Jack, so we have to change from Jack, yeah, because it's changed. We don't have John right now.
Let's try.
Yeah, let's try with Jack.
Let's try with Jack. Yeah, Jack, but again, I don't think it will work because it will not be able to find jack.gmail.com. Let's do that. And if I go here, see, modified count is 0. So it's telling me here nothing is changed. And if I go to this one here and I refresh, where is it? Refresh. If I go to my jack here, see, it's not been changed at all. No. The reason why, because actually it is case sensitive. Here, the email is case sensitive because simply it's a string. And as you know, in string, jack, uppercase or lowercase does matter actually. So it won't work if it's not the right cases.
But we change exactly the same. Okay.
We can go back if you want to. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, because it was Jack Gmail and Jack 1234, and we changed for exactly the same. Maybe that's why. So maybe we can change to Samantha, or I don't know.
Let's check.
Or Jacqueline.
Jane, like that. But even so, it will should show me that one record has been affected. So now Jane, now here, not Jack, also Jane. So you, voila. And if I do so again, it will modify count 0. So it's not going to work because simply it will not be able to find jack at gmail.com.
Okay.
So that's how we update one. We can also update many, but I don't want to go through update many because also that's really bad practice. Normally, when we update a record, we should not update many unless you know what you are doing. But basically, it's the same syntax, simply like that. Okay, delete one. Also, we can delete one and delete many. Again, I don't want you to go with delete many because that's really risky. But delete one, I want you to understand it, of course. How can I delete one? Well, it's simple. DB as usual. Dot. What is the name of my collection? Users. And dot. If I say delete like that, so you have delete one and delete many. And of course, now here I need to pass this filter object here. I need to specify some specific property so it knows that this specific user. So let's go with the email. I can do it with the password as well. And I want now to delete, let's see, what do I have? I want to delete this guy test. So I'm gonna copy this guy. I'm gonna here, and voila. Now what's going to do here, simply it will now try to delete this user. So if I click on this one, notice deleted count 1, that's mean 1 is being affected and to acknowledge true. Now if I go to this guy here and I try to refresh and voila, it's gone and I only have 3 as you can see. Should be simple, huh? Yes. MongoDB is quite simple. We'll be using it for the rest of the training. MongoDB is very, very popular using with JavaScript, with Node specifically, Express. And what we have, what you call the MERge stack, which will be implemented from now on. The MERge stack is super popular. It stands for MongoDB for database. And then we have E for Express, and R for React, and N for Node.js. Okay, now you know how to do the crowd operation. So now you know how to do find or find one or find, just use find and find multiple user. You know how to insert one and insert many. You know how to update one or update many. Update many, don't do it. Just stick with one. Delete one, delete many. You know how to do this crowd operation currently, which is nice. There is some filters. Let me just check here and check the documentation just to know what do we call these guys here. Query. No. Validation. No. Middleware. No. So maybe I can search here for $ set here. API set. Yeah, but what do we call those? Password or key value, yes. They have a name, specific name, but it looks like I don't know what's the name. Let's just call them function. And for now, let's just call them function. Remember, for this validator, this function here, we have a lot of them. So as you can see, we have many of them. And all of them, if not most of them, they start with $sign. And we see one of them now, which was set here. It help us to update a specific document. We also have some more here. So for example, we have something called equal. So if I use $sign, so I will just list some of them. EQ here stands for equal. So E equal, just like that. So I can check it to see, for example, if the email is equal to something or not. I can check it for equality. We have not equal, so NE, you don't have to remember all of them, but when we use them, you will start to remember them and use them. So NE stands for not equal. We have greater than, GT for greater than and equal, GTE, greater than or equal. We have less than, and also $sign here, less than LT, less than or equal LTS. And all these functions, as I told you, they will help us now to do some filtering, some nice stuff. We can use in, not in, and, or, so all these one, exist or not. We have set, we've seen already set, rename, unset, push, to push some new value, and pull. But let's go, I will just show for now some of them, just to see how can we use them. So let's start for equal, for example. So how can you use this function here, or this filter function here, or this query here, to help me to do to query some data, for example? Well, now I want to go to users, because now currently, of course, I have one collection, which is user. I can just say db.users. And now here, let's say I want to find a specific user. And here, find, as I told you, we need to pass as the first object. What did we name the first object? What did we name the first object? That's what we call the filter object, okay? Now here, what do I want to filter? I want to filter the email here. So now here, I can add the email, and then I can add another object. And in this object, what I can do now here, for the key, I can add $sign equal, EQ. And here, I can now pass my email here. And for example, sam@gmail.com. So what I'm saying here, well, this is just another way to try to filter or try to find this specific user. So what I'm doing here, I'm saying db.user.find, and here that's my filter object, that's the first one. Then I'm here, I'm passing the email. So the email, that's the property I'm going to use, that's the field I'm going to use the email. Then here, whenever I use this function here, I will put them inside another object. Again, you need to go to the documentation to see how they work. So equal here, that means I want you to find a user where the email is equal to sam@gmail.com. That's what it means. Again, what's that supposed to mean? Well, it means I want you to go to user collection and find me the user where the email field here, it's, as you can see, $sign EQ, that means equal to sam@gmail.com. And now here, if I click on this one, as you can see, it will return me one specific user. Is it quite clear how to use equal? Yes, no?
Right, it's better to use enough for email that is unique, maybe for the things that,
Yes, but as you can see, Smilano, I don't have a lot of options. So the table I created or the collection, I just have email and password. And I don't want to go.
Make confusion using the same method that used before. So that was.
Let's try with password. You are happy now? So here we will just use the password here. You can use any filter you want to. Now I want the password to be, but I don't remember what was my password. This one. So I'm gonna copy this one. Voila. You can use whatever you want to. It's fine. And here I want, voila. We will never use a password because the password normally is hashed. But what I'm doing here, well, I want you to go to user collection and you want you to find me the user where the password is equal to this value. If I click on this one here, and as you can see, it gives me this specific user. Now, what I can do here, I can use the same idea, but not equal. So what is that supposed to mean? I will just go in here, and instead of equal, I can use not equal like that in A. Now, what I'm saying here, I'm saying I want you to find me the user or users where the password is not equal to this password. And of course, I know this password belongs to Sam. That means it will not return me Sam user, but it will return me all the other users. So as you can see, I have 2 users, Jack and Rodica. Because in general, I have only 3 users. And I'm saying the password, I don't want it to be this one. That means this one, it will not be included, and it will return me the other 2 users. So as you can see, we have some specific function. We can use them a lot. And all these functions actually start with $sign. Like equal, not equal, greater than if we are dealing with numbers, but I don't have any numbers here. Greater than or greater than equal, less than equal, and so stuff like that. I can also add multiple condition if with and or, but for today, let's keep it simple here. Later on, we will learn a little bit more by more. But for now, it should be fine. Any question related to whatever we study so far? Any question? Any question we learned so far? Question?
This is the MongoDB syntax, this one.
I'm sorry, Ms. Milano, MongoDB syntax, what's the problem with the syntax?
I'm saying this is because you said we have to use Mongos, and this
Yes.
is MongoDB precisely. Mongos or...
Actually, it's Mangoes.
Okay.
So if you go to the documentation, I've already shared Mangoes with you. When it comes to MongoDB, Ms. Milano, MongoDB already come with an ORM. So it's automatically come with ORM. The easiest way to deal with MongoDB is to use this ORM, which is, we call it Mangoes here. So as you can see, if I go to Mangoes here, we have equal, you have everything. So now let's search for not equal, $sign, not equal. I think it's like that. So if I click on this one, see, I have not equal, and it will show me how to use not equal, it's the syntax, everything. It will show me some examples here, as you can see. So yeah, it will just show me everything. So this syntax actually, it's belong to Mangoes. So it's the ORM one. But whenever we will use MongoDB, not just for JavaScript, actually, if you use it with Java or we use it with Python or any other programming language, we will use the ORM because the ORM make it much more easier and better. Yes?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now we learn this basic stuff here in MongoDB as you know. So basic stuff that should be enough for me. I will gonna close this guy. I'm gonna close this guy. Of course, you can keep this MongoDB this Compass all the time to check your database. That's fine if that's what you want to. I'm gonna show you also in VS Code how to connect to MongoDB server if you want to. So I can click on this one here. I'm already connected to the local host. So let me delete this connection, remove connection. So normally when you install this, what you call MongoDB extension, you will have add connection. So you click on this one, it will ask you for connection string. Click on this one. So what is the connection string? Well, the connection string simply, if you are using a local server, which would be, we are using localhost, you can click on this one, and that's the connection here. It will be MongoDB ://localhost, and that is the port here, 27017. So I can just copy this one, voila, and now here I can just cancel it. I don't want it. And now here I can go into my MongoDB here. I can just add the connection string like that and hit enter. And voila, as you can see, it will show me my local host. As you can see, this is my admin, this is my config, this is my demo, which I have user here collection. And as you can see, it show me the 3 documents I have for different user. So also you can use this plugin to deal with your MongoDB server inside your VS Code. Although I think it will be better to use Compass because Compass, it's really nicer and it make everything much more simpler. So that's Compass here. It's nice. Yeah. Just to show you that how you can, if you want to do it in VS Code, you can. Okay, now that's fine. That's okay. We learned the basic of MongoDB, which is nice. Now, I want now to start creating my first project here. And you may tell me it's too early for the project. No, it's not too early for the project. because on the project, all we're going to do here, we just do the crowd operation. So we learn how to find or get one or all. We need to know how to insert one or insert many. We need to know how to update and delete, and we already know how to do all of those. Okay, I've already shared the template repo with you, which is MongoDB. I'm sorry, Bookmern. Now, Bookmern here, it will be a bookstore, but it will be a full stack application. So as a front end, you need to build it using React. I've already created a demo project for you, so you already have this stuff. You don't need to do anything. You just need to use the template here. So as usual, you'll go to here, and the template, I already shared it with you. And all you need to do, just use this template to create a new repo, and then you have backend and you have front end. Okay, I've already copied the template here. And now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to see first my backend. I will show you the setting, how we can integrate MongoDB and Mongo specifically with our backend. And after that, I will give you time to finish your backend and also do your front end using React. So let's go inside first the backend. I'm gonna click this one, I'm gonna click this one. Of course, for the backend, as you know, the first step I need to do, if you go to the documentation here, the first step you need to do for the backend, you need to go inside backend and do npm install to install the dependency. So all I have to do here, I can just say npm I to install all the dependency here. Cool.
Can we take a break before we start the project, please?
Yes, let's take 20-minute break, and then we can start with the project, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so if we go to the template here, I will just go first with the backend, and then I will go with the front end. I've just added material UI for you if you want to use it for the front end, that's fine. If I go to the template here, as you can see, you need to have Node. We already have Node. Try to make sure that your Node is stable version, please. So Node -v, the stable version is 20.17. As version 22 is not stable, so you may have some bugs. But anyway. Okay, what should we do? A MongoDB community server, we have everything. That's my project. I need to cd into the backend, npm install. And of course, now I need to create .env. And for .env, I need to add some value. So I already have .env. So first I have the port. You already know what's the port. Token secret, you know what's the token secret. So when I create a token, I will have token secret. And if I go to the middleware, I have verified token. You need to make sure this value is correct. So process.env token secret. Yeah, that should be fine. And now I need to add another value, which will be connection URI. So what is this connection URI? This connection is, just make a connection between your code, between your server, your Express server, and MongoDB. And now here, as I told you, we can use MongoDB locally, and you can use it on the cloud on Atlas. Now, when you do it in the cloud in Atlas, it will give you another connection, and you just need to put the connection here. But for now, let's just do it locally. So how can I do that? What is the connection URI? So the connection URI, if you just go to this guy here and you make a connection, I need to copy this one. So that's a connection. Voila. So as you can see, if I just paste the connection, it's the same, MongoDB // localhost 27017. And slash here, I need now to define the name of my database here, /books. So I name my database books. So that's my database, it will be books here. And this one must be connection URI. I mean, that's the name here we are using. You can name it whatever you want to, but we name just connection URI. And because we are using the local server, it must be MongoDB / localhost 27017/books. You don't need to create a database here. It will automatically create it for you if you don't have database. That's fine. So you have all these value in .env, and all after that, I just need to run npm run dev. That's it, no more, no less. That's everything about the backend. So let's just now try to run npm run dev. If I run my dev, as you can see, say connect to the database successfully. The server is up and running on port HTTP localhost 5004. Well, let's check our template and see what do we have. Let's first check package.json. So in package.json, as you can see, it's almost the same, but here we have little bit different library. So bcrypt, we still have bcrypt, cookie parser, we still have it. We have something called course. So what is course? Course stands for cross origin resource, something like that, via system, whatever. So what course is doing, I'll explain what he's doing here. He's doing something simple. .env you already know, Express you already know, JSON Web Token you already know, and I need to install Mangoes. So Mangoes, that will be the ORM. That will be how can I deal with MongoDB. Because when we write code here, we need to use MongoDB. That's it. And of course, for dev dependency, I just have chunk and prettier as normal. So that's my dependency. You have already everything, so you don't need to install anything. So I need the .vs code with the launch setting here in case I want to debug anything on the backend, and you need to create that already. That's fine. You need to create .env, as I told you, with port token secret or whatever name you want to call it. But you need to check the middleware here. You need to make sure that this value and the value in .env is the same. Otherwise, your verified token, it will not work, as you know. Okay. For the connection URI, you can, because you are using it locally, you just need to use the same. That's it. And you can name your database books for now. That should be fine. So now, first step here, how can I make a connection between my server, my Express server, and my MongoDB server here, which I have it locally? Well, to make a connection, I need to go to config, go to DB, and here I need to import few stuff. Of course, you can go to the documentation, everything in detail, but I'm just going to explain what you have to do. So I need to import Mangoes from Mangoes. I'm importing .in from .inf. I'm importing path and dir name and file name from URL. And now why I'm importing all of this? All of this because of this .in. Because I am in config, it cannot see .inf here. And sometimes it will work, by the way. Sometimes it will not work. So I'm doing all this stuff just to tell them, okay, the .inf, you need to go out of this folder, which is config, and then you will find it. And we've done that multiple times, so that's not the first time. File name, you know, file name, path, you know, file here, I say .inf config, and the path here, it will be path.join. I have my path, and the path to, it will be the path to the config folder. Then I want to go up one directory, get out of this one, then I will find .inf here. Okay, how can now I connect to my DB or my database? Well, I need to create an async function, and I use to try and catch. Now all I have to do, I need to use await mangoes dot. No, when I use mangoes here, it's an object. I have a function which is called connect, and in this connect, I need to pass, as you can see, the URI string here. Where I will get this URI string? Well, it's in my .in, so it will process .env connection URI. Now, if this connection was successful here, I will just log connected to the database successfully. Else, if I have an error, I will just console.log the error, simply like that. And now, as you can see, just it's telling me connect to DB successfully. Now, if you have MongoDB server on your local machine, you install it, and you need to start it. If it's not start this connection, it will not work because your server is not running. But most of the time, it should be okay. So that's simply, this is a function I created, and this function, it will manage, or the job of this function, it will try to connect to the MongoDB and try to connect to simply my database. Any question about this function here? It's a very simple function. It must be a thing because I need to use await, because to make a connection to the database, it will take some time. So await mangoes, that's my library here, .connect. And of course, if you go to the documentation, and here, connection, just click on the connection. And if you go down here, it will show you a lot of stuff here, how you can make the connection. It's a promise that I'm using. Some of them make it really complex. I just use this one directly, which is the easiest. As you can see, I just need to use await mangoes.connect, and that's my URI, as you can see, mango / that's localhost 27,017, and here /test. I think it will be better actually to make this one this way, if I'm not mistaken. It will be better here to do that. So all I have to do, I can just, instead of localhost here, I can add this one if I'm not mistaken. It's the same, by the way, but I think it will be better here too. If you go back to the documentation, it will tell you it's better to use 127.0.0.1. It's just simply localhost. And if I read this one, if you read the documentation, I'm quite sure it's better to use this one. So that's simply how I make a connection. It's very, very simple. Here, let me try to search for this one. And I think that's create connection. If you read the documentation, you still can hear me? That's okay. So if you read this documentation, I think it will be better to tell you it's better to use this one 127.0.0.1 instead of localhost. But then again, that's fine. Okay, so that's simply my function in DB here. That's the function I concerned about. I created my function. My function is a sync function, and now I'm going to export this function. Now, all I have to do now, I need to import this function in index.js. And when I import it, I need just to execute the function. And what will happen here, this function, when it's executed, it will try to connect to my database. And if that was successful, it will just connect to database successfully. Do not worry, you have all this code, this template already on your template. So you have already everything. I will give it to you the first time. Okay, so that's simply how we can make a connection. It's super simple. It's not like in MySQL, I need to add a lot of configuration. It's very simple. Oh, wait, mangoes.connect. I need to pass my connection URI. And then I will just connect it successfully to database. And then that's it. Well, okay, so that's my configuration. Good. Question about the configuration before I move? Any question here? Any question? Question about the configuration before I move?
How we check that MongoDB is running?
Well, depends what is your operating system. You mean the server? Depend how do you install. If you are using Windows, and I think you are using Windows, if you search for activity, something like that, and you search for the activity, you need to see MongoDB is running. But for us, the people using Mac, we install Homebrew. So if I say bro, yeah, bro, what was it? Check. So we have a command. In Windows, you just need to search activity and you will have all the activity. And you need to check that MongoDB is being running. That's it for bro. How to check if MongoDB server is running using bro. So we have a command here, which is bro server list. Because on Mac, we use Homebrew to install it. For you in Windows, it will be different, as I told you. So let me just remove this command. And if I do so, click. And as you can see here, it's telling me MongoDB started here. The status is started. That means it's already running. Even MySQL here is already started here. So I don't need, so I have both of them, both servers are running. If you are using Mac. On Windows, I cannot show you, but you can search for activity. And in the activity, you need to search, go to all these activity, and you will find MongoDB, and close to it, you need to see something called running. Yes?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the difficult way. The easiest way, it will be actually when the compass here, when you try to connect to the compass and you see this one is running, you know it's running already. So when you try to connect locally to, so we say connection, and just without passing anything, just say connect. If you see this dot here, it's been connected successfully. That means it is running. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you have two different multiple. Just a second. Let me change my headset. My is finished. You still can hear me, guys, right? Yes.
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 Okay. So what should I do now? Well, after I create this function, now I need to import it in index.js. So I will go to index.js. It's almost the same. I've changed few stuff here. So here, as you can see, I will need to import few library. I will need to import Express. You already know Express. So not big change here. .env, you already know .env. Cookie parser, you already know cookie parser. And we have now something called course. I will show you what is course now, cross origin resource system or something like that. But anyway, now what I'm doing here, I'm just importing my library, 4 of them. Notice I'm not importing mangoes here because simply I don't need it here. Then I am importing my DB connection. So remember the function I create here, this function? Now I need to import it inside my index.js. So I'm saying import connect to DB from /config db.js. That's okay. And then I am importing my middleware. It's the same. I'm importing my route. I've created the route for you already here. I have 2 routes. I have user route and I have book route. And then I need to load my environment variable .env config, and I'm defining my port. Now I need to connect to database. So how can I do that? Well, all I need to do, I need to execute this function because connect to DB is actually a function. So if I go to here, as you can see, connect to DB is a function. And what I'm doing here, I'm exporting this function. So all I need to do here, after I define my port, I say connect to database and I execute it. And voila, so it will try. And if it's successful, I will see this one connect to DB successful. I'm initializing my Express, it's the same. So is that what we called course? So course, it's just a middleware. It's allow me, or it's allow. So when you try to connect to as a server, it will not accept all these requests. It will only accept the request when it comes from this specific port, which is HTTP localhost 5173. And that's the port actually for my front end. So when we use V to create a React project, that will be a port. Now you may tell me why I am doing that. Because normally when I have a server, I should not allow anyone to send a request to my server. Because if anyone, from any port here, they just send a request to my server will need to handle a lot of requests. And like that, it will be very slow. Now, what do I need here? I want only my backend to respond to my front end. In my front end, if I need this data, I will send a request and my backend should give me the data. And that's the reason why I'm saying, okay, I want you to accept all the requests from this guy here, from this specific port. So HTTP localhost 5173, which will be my front end here. Credential true, that's mean here. So the credential true, that's mean I will allow only this guy here to access my database. If you want to know more about course, so you can just type here course npm. So it's course here, as you can see, it will give you more information. It stands for cross, where is it? It show you how to install it. It show you also app. You can use here course like that as a middleware, but also what you can do here, which is more interesting here, you can add some option here. So you can allow a certain port to access your backend, not all of them. So only now here, in this case, only this whatever request coming from this HTTP localhost, this specific one, it will be able to communicate with my backend. The other one, it will not be. And of course, that's better for me. Of course, I can create, by the way, an array and add multiple URL, which will be able to access my backend. But currently, for now, we should just allow only our front end to be able to communicate with our backend. Did you understand the idea? Yes, no? Yes, no?
This is the connection between front-end and back-end. This is the connection.
Sorry?
This is the connection between front-end and back-end.
Yes, so what I am saying here is if I have a request from this guy here, from this port here, if I have access, I want you to allow it. That's fine. I want to allow it. I want you to go through my backend and send data back. But now if any other host try to connect to my server here, it will not be able to do so. And by the way, if I don't use course in my front end, it will not be able to communicate. Why? Because I cannot make a connection
from one port to another port. It is just not possible. My browser gonna block this one because it's security issue. So I need to add this one to my server here, which is saying, okay, I want you to allow to this local host, I want to this specific port. If you try to send me a request to my server, I want you to allow it. That's simply how it is.
And the origin stay the same always when you're working the application and when it's finished.
It's no, it will be different because now localhost, it will be a locally, but when I push to the production, I am not using localhost. It will be, for example, http:// my website.com, something like that. So now here, this is only for development. In production, when we deploy our project, the URL, it will be different. And here I will take the URL and I will change it. Yes?
Okay, clear.
Okay, great. So here I'll need to add this course. If I don't add this course, my frontend will not be able to communicate with my backend. So it's really important to do so. I will show you when we build a little bit the frontend, it will just not work. Of course, I'm using Postman, it will allow me, it's not a problem. But if I try to access the data from a real frontend, it will just tell me blocked by course. That means I will not be able to access different port here. It's not possible to communicate between two different server, two different port. And that's the reason we have this package or this middleware, which will allow my front end here for now to access my backend. That should be simple. After that, I'm parsing JSON, I'm parsing URL encoded in case I have some data. I'm parsing the cookie parser in case I have any cookie. Then I'm using my middleware, all of them the same here. Here I'm handling 404, and notice here I am sending JSON. I'm not sending EGS anymore. I'm not using any more EGS because I don't need any EGS. Now I will have a front end. And when I have a front end, I don't need EGS anymore. And because I don't have any EGS, I need to send my data as a JSON format. The most used format data to communicate data between the front end and the back end, it will be in JSON format. It's like 99.8 of the websites, they are using JSON. Some old website using XML, but I mean, it's just like, I don't know, 0 point few stuff like that. Okay, so I'm sending my JSON message 404 not found. Notice when I'm using JSON, this one must be an object. Same idea here. If I have, when I'm handling in an error, if I have any error here, I'll do the same here. I'm just logging the error stack and then I'm sending JSON, which is an object here, as you can see. And then here message 500 here. I don't really need to include 500 because I've already defined the status here. And even so not found, I can just say page not found. Voila. And at the end here, I'm just listening to the server. So not many changes here, actually. I've just included course here, so my front end will be able to communicate with my backend. I've imported, yeah, that's it, nothing else. I'm just importing my function, which is connect to DB, which is inside db.js. And then here I'm executing this function, simply like that. Well, that should be simple. Yes, no.
Some with the JSON, because in JSON you have key value, and the key usually it's not in string and the value is in string, or both should be in string.
Yes, but what we am doing here, I'm just passing a JavaScript object. This is just JavaScript object. And when I say JSON, it will convert JavaScript object to JSON.
Okay.
So
because I'm mixing all the time. Sometimes I put the quote, sometimes not. For the numbers, you need to put the quote or not?
If you are dealing with JSON, for example, here, this is JSON. I need to put code here. Everything need to be surrounded by double quote. It depends where you are dealing. So in this file, I cannot remove this one here. For example, use like that. See, I have an error. It's not gonna work because this is JSON. But when I'm inside index.js, yes, I can just pass an object here. This one is just an object. And because it's the object, I can have key and I have value. Of course, the value need to be a string. Because simply if it's not string, it need to be either one of data type, number, or it need to be Boolean, or it need to be something here. And here I need to send a message, so it need to be a string. Yes, Agnieszka?
Okay, but if it will be converted to JSON, so everything will be in string.
Yes, it will be
Okay.
converted to JSON. Yes.
Okay.
And that's the reason we say .json. But you need to remember something here. I've seen some people doing this one here. So when they say JSON, and then here they just write a message like that. That's not gonna work. Because you are saying JSON, you need to pass an object. You cannot just pass a string here. You need to pass an object. Otherwise, it will give you an error. Okay? So if I say JSON, I need to pass an object. Okay. That should be good. Okay, what else do I need to do here? Well, I have some util functions. The util functions are the same. Hash password, match password, validate email, it's the same. I'm gonna use them the same as well. And here I have logs already for my middleware. It's are the same. Logs, it's the same. I'm not gonna change anything. Verify token is the same. But you need to make sure this value here, token secret, it's the same in your .env. If it's not the same, it will give you an error. And sometimes we don't know what's the error really. So sometimes it's really nasty, but you need to be careful with that. Okay, that should be fine. Now, what I need to do here in public, well, as you can see here, I'm not serving a static folder. Why? Because now I will have a front end, so I don't really need to serve any static folder. Now, my backend here, mostly it will be for data. It will mostly be API. So if a front end will send me a request, give me this data, and I'm gonna send this data as a JSON. So that will be the job of the backend now. I don't need to serve static folder unless it's very important. And here I'm not serving anything. I don't need to use EGS because simply now I will have a front end. My job is just the backend job, just to send data. And that's the reason here why I have this library. I remove EGS. I don't need EGS anymore. Of course, I'll need it. MongoDB, Mongo's, I needed JSON Web Token, Express.inf. I know these. The rest, I don't need them. Okay, let's go to routes. Well, now routes here, I have user route. And of course, to go to the user route, I've already give you some stuff here. So it's quite simple, actually. This is user controller and this is user route. So for the user route, I am importing user controller from /controller user.js. Then I will have register login logout, which is equal to, I'm destructuring this function. And then here I have router.post and have router.post and here /register/login/logout. If you remember, before we used to have 5 routes, now we only have 3. Why we don't need the other 2 routes? Yes?
It will be in the front end.
Yes, so we don't need any EGS anymore here. Our job here is just to register, login, and log out. That's it. Sending a form and stuff like that, we will never do that. That will be in the front end. And of course, I have 3 functions, as you can see. And this 3 function, it will be async function, all of them. Because all of them, they will try to communicate with my database. Of course, now I am importing my user module from /module/user. I will show you now the module after I show you the route and the controller. I will also show you how we can create modules. That should be fine. So that's the user here. Of course, we didn't do anything and we need to do a lot of job, but still. For the route for the book, it's the same idea here. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. In the book, I give you some code here already. And I'm importing book module. Notice the book they're using a capital letter. So that's a convention in MongoDB because it's a module, it's like a class. Also, I need to import it from /module book.js. I have my book controller and same idea here. I need to import Express. I need to import book controller. I'm destructuring all these function. And here in my route, I need to be able to get all books, get specific book, post a book, update or put a book and delete a book. I will be able to do all of those now from the front end. And that's it. It should be simple here. It's the same. We didn't change anything. It's exactly the same. What's interesting now here for us is actually the module. We know now how to create the route. I already imported the route for you. So that's both route here. Everything is fine. But the module are interesting. So how can I create a module in MongoDB? Well, what we can do, we can just go to Mongo's here. And as you can see, we have something called schema. So what the hell is schema? Schema is how your table is gonna look like, or how your collection is gonna look like. So if I click on module and I go in here, it will show me a lot of example how can I create a schema here. So they just show you how to create a schema. But I'm gonna teach you the easiest way to do it and the best way actually to do it. So first, the user. So that's how we create a module. First, I need to import mangoes from mangoes. Then I need to declare a variable. I will name it user schema. So it depends really on what here it's user. I'll name it user schema. Now user schema here, it will be equal to new mangoes. So I'm creating an instant because now schema here is actually a class. So I will say new mangoes dot schema, and here schema it's a class here. So I need to pass parentheses, and inside it now I need to pass what different value I want. Well, I need the email. An email here, it will be an object. So everything it will be an object. And now here I can pass. I can have say type. What different type I have? Well, if you don't know what different type we have in MongoDBs, so what you can do here, you can just type here types. Schema type, actually we have them here. So you can have string, you can have number, you can have date, you can have buffer. So buffer is just like a string, but number stuff. You can have Boolean, you can have array, you can have map. So you can have big int, can have a lot of different data. And if you go back to the documentation also, it gives you a lot of examples. Okay, that's easy. So now I'm saying the email, remember it must be inside an object. My property here, or that will be my field, whatever the value I want, email. I need to define the type. Is it required? Yes, it is required. If it's not required, I can just remove this one. Unique. Well, do I want it to be unique, my email? Yes, so I need to make it true. How could I know that required or unique exist? Well, all you have to do again, go back to the documentation and search for different option here. So if I search for unique like that, click on that. And as you can see, we have something called unique. So you can use unique here or with schema data type option. So schema type, if you click on this one, where is the options, option, type. So we have string. What else? Voila. So we require, it will be a Boolean. It's telling you it's a Boolean, either true or false. Default, you can even give default value. You can make some validation. So you can have a lot of actually different validation here in Mangoes or MongoDB. You can go down here, and for the string, you can have all these function. For the number, you can use min and max if you have number. For date, same idea. So we can include a lot of property here. For me, now here it's email, type, string, require, true, unique, true. That's all I need here. For the password, I want it to be string. Is it required? Yes, it is required. And now what I need to do here, I need to say const user. Notice it's uppercase. That's how we create a module. So that's my module user. It's equal to mangoes.module. So after I created my schema, again, the schema is, it's just, it will tell you how your collection will look like. Now my collection user schema here, I will have two property inside. I will have email and password. For the ID, you don't have to worry about the ID because as you know, MongoDB, it will automatically create underscore ID for you. Okay, that should be fine. Now here I will need, after I create my schema, which will be new mangoes.schema because this one is a class, so I will create a new instance. Then I will say const user because that's my module here. It's equal to mangoes.module, and I will pass user single here. So I will not name it users, no, just user here. And then after that, MongoDB, it will create the plural table for me. Don't worry about it because here is just a single one, and we are taking one example. And after that, when it creates the collection for you, it will make it plural and lowercase. And of course, now in the module, I need to pass the name here, which will be users, same as here, in a string. And then now I need to pass the user schema here. After that, I will have my user module, and now I need just to export it. Of course, after I create my user module, now I need to import it inside my controller. Is it okay here? Any question here? Again, I give you the module already because it's the first time for you, so I give you already the module. Question? Question? I think in email we can check if it's email or not, if I'm not mistaken. Email validation. So email here type string. Yeah, I think I can check also if it's email or not. If I go here, if you go here, user.set, no, no. I'll check it later here, but I'm quite sure here I can just make validation here to check if it's email or not. But for now, let's make it simple. Let's make it simple. That should be fun. If I go to the book module, it's the same idea exactly. I need to import mangoes. Const book schema, it's equal to new mangoes.schema. And now here I need to pass the different fields. Then I will just say const book, that's my module. It's equal to mangoes.module. The name of my module in a string and book schema. And then I need to export the book. And now here in the book is the same idea. I need to define what different field or what different, actually there are different field I need. I need title. What type I want it to be? Well, I want it to be string. And here, is it required? Yes, I want it to be required. Author, type, string, required, yes. Category, maybe, so what category of book is that? Is it fiction? Is it science fiction? Is it fantasy, stuff like that? Type is string, required true. And image as well, I need to add the image. And the image here, it will be for my book here. So it will be cover of the book, type string, and required also true. And now here in my collection, I will have a different field. I will have title, author, category, image, and also I will have underscore ID, which will be generated automatically by MongoDB. Is there any problem how we can create module? Yes, no.
And in MySQL, we had user underscore ID. So to communicate the two tables here, we can connect with the two collections?
Well, yes and no. But if you remember in SQL, SQL, they are relational database. So we need to make a relation between the tables. In MongoDB, we have two different strategy. Either we can put a document inside a document. That's mean I have this document and now here I can put the reviewer and I can make it an array. And like that, I will not need to make connection between two tables. So what I'm doing here, or two collection, what I'm doing here, I'm putting collection inside another collection. That's one way. The second way here, yes, I can separate them, make both of them different collection, and here I will need to make a connection between the two. And the connection here, either it will be one to many, or many to many, or one to many, or many to one. And after that, I will need to include just something like foreign key. So we have two possibility on MongoDB. Okay, Agnieszka?
Okay, so here we also have foreign key and primary key.
Yeah, it's not really like we don't really call it primary key or foreign key. We just call it a connection, like that. So it's just different naming, yes, but we have two different strategy. It's too early for that. But later on, as I told you, either we can put a document inside a document, and if that will be useful if my document is small, so I don't have to create two different collection. It was like two different table. But if I have two huge table, it will be good idea to separate them and after that make a connection between them. But we will learn it little bit in the future. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Now it's okay. So I know how to create my module, which is okay. Now what I need to do, I need to import my module in both books. As you can see, import book. It's capital here. My module is capital from here, and here my module is capital here as well. So yeah, for my backend here, I need to do some stuff actually. So here I need to register a user, I need to log in, I need to log out, and I need to test all of them using Postman. And that's the only option I have because I currently don't have a front end. So I need to test them with Postman to make sure they are working. And when I finish with my backend, then I can move to my front end and start building my front end. So let's try to build. I'm not gonna build everything for you. I'm just gonna build. So I've already shown you how to use the books here. I'm gonna do maybe just. I can do register, for example, and log in, log out. You can do it yourself because it's the same strategy we have been doing so far. So it's nothing new. It's the same process exactly. And as for the front end, of course, you know how to create a React project. I've already created a template for you, and all you need to do here at specific point, you need just to send a request to the backend to get the data. You already have your course, so you don't have to worry about anything. Everything's set for you. Okay, let's go to user for now. And as you can see, all my functions are async. Remember that? Why? Because whenever I'm going to use this module here, it will connect to my database. So what should I do here? Well, it's obviously here I need to, when I'm trying to register here, I will need some data. And this data here, it's most probably I will have a form in the front end. And so what I need to do here, I can just say const, probably I will need an email, password, and I can name it here repassword as well, like that. So I will need to grab these three value, email, password, and repassword from the request.body. After I grab these three value here, I need to check now if the user exists or not. So here I need to check if user already exists. Why? Because if the user exists, I should not allow him to register again. So I can just say const user exist. It's equal to await, and now here I can use my module. So I can just say find one, for example. Or I can use here find one, and here all I have to do, I can just pass my filter object, and here I can just say email like that. Voila. Or I can just pass, because the key and the value is the same, I can just pass email here. So what I'm doing here, well, I have email, I have password, I have repassword. I need to check if the user exists or not. Why? Because if the user exists, I should not allow the user to create a user again, because like that I will have a duplicate email or a duplicate user with the same email. I should not allow that. So now I'm using await, and I'm using my module user.find1. We've seen find one here. So find one here, it will try to find the first match here for this object. And then here I need to pass this filter object, and I need to, what is the unique property I am trying to search by? It will be the email. And now here I will have different possibility. Of course, now here I can just say if user exists already. So if the user exists already, what should I do? Well, I can just say status 400, and I pass JSON. And the message it will be user already exists. Please log in. Please log in. And I can even redirect the user. I can do that now in the front end, redirect the user to log in. So if the user exists, of course, it will return me an object, as you know, a JSON object, or it will be JavaScript object. And this object, as you know, the object is truthy value, because it's truthy value. So if the user exists, I'm going to directly send a status 400. That means it's a client error. I'm sending a JSON. Remember, it must be an object. And my message, it will be user already exists. Please log in. And voila, that's it. But what if the user does not exist? Well, first, do I need else block or not? Do I need else block or not?
No.
No, because I'm using return here, I don't need the else block. So if I get to this point, that means the user does not exist. This email is new. Well, now I need to check for some stuff here. So I need to check if the password, first I need to check if the email, the password, and the repassword, let's name it here match password, match passwords like that, are valid, all three. Match password. Yeah, so I need to check if all three are valid or not. So how can I do that? Well, it's quite simple. I just say const is valid email. And it's not something new, of course. Now I need my function here. Where is my function here? Well, I need to import it simply like that. So let's go in here. This is my module. Now here I need to import validate email, which will be from /util validate email.js. I need to import validate password, and need to import match password, and all of them coming from util this one. I need to import hash password as well, because I'll need it actually. So let's import hash password as well. Import hash password, I think was the name, hash password, yes. So hash password from /util hash dot password. I will need also a few stuff here. So as you know, I need GWT and bcrypt. So it's a good idea to import them, GWT, and also I need to import bcrypt, but it will be from bcrypt, not bcrypt.js. And voila, so I import everything I need here. What does it telling me? It's telling me that in controller, in user, I have some problem. Of course, I have a problem because as you can see, I have these errors. So it's fine, it's not a problem. Let's use my function, validate email. I'm gonna pass my email. Let's do the second one is valid password. And then here, I can just does password match or password match. And here, match password, is the name is correct here? Yes, match password. Just to make sure my function is correct. Match password, and I need to pass a password and a repassword. So if all these three conditions are true, then I'm gonna proceed. So I can just say if is valid email and is valid password and is a password match, and then here I can just proceed now. And what I'm going to do here, what should I do here? What should I do if that's correct? If all of them are correct, what should I do?
Create user.
Before creating a user, what do I need to use? What do I need to do with the password?
Hash password.
Yes, so I need to hash my password. So I can just say const hashed password. And here I don't need to use await because I'm hashing the password using a hash password sync. So I can just say hash password and I'm passing my password this way. So okay, so I've hashed my passwords, that's great. After that, now I will try to create a new user. And in order to create a new user, I can simply, to create a new user, I can just say const user, it's equal to new, and here I can use my module, new user, and I need to pass the email. It will be the same, so I don't need to repeat it. So I can write it this way, but if the key and value is the same, I can just pass one. The password here, it will be the hash password. Now here, as you can see, I've created a new user, so I can name it either user or new user. It is okay, let's just name it new user. Voila. Now, after I created my new user here, I need somehow now try to save this user. So how can I do that? Well, I can just use try and catch like that. And here, what I can do here, I can just say await. So I'm saying await new user, which I create dot save. Because I create a new user here from the user module, it will have a lot of function on it. And here, all I have to do just save. Then if it's successful, I can just send status back, which is B221. That means a new user is being created. And JSON here, I am passing saved user. By the way, saved user here, it will be an object. So because it's an object, I can just pass it directly to JSON. If I encounter any error, some error happened here for some reason. So if I was not able to create a user for some reason, I will just say restore status 400 JSON error, and here I can, come on, error, and here I can just pass the error here, simply like that. Voila. So that's simply how we can create a new user. It's much easier comparing to MySQL, as you can see. So if all of them is valid, I can hash my passwords, then I can create a new user. How can I create a new user? Well, I can use my module. So my module here, it's like a class, as you can see. So it's a module. So what I can do here, I can simply just say const new user is equal to new user, and I can pass my data, the email, and the password here must be the hash password. Then now I will try to save this new user in my database. So I created this user from this module, but I did not save it into my database. I need to save it into my database. In order to do so, I can just say const saved user, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it save user. By the way, I can just pass this new user if I want to. But here I need to wait until the new user has been saved. Dot save, and save here is the function which will go to my database and save this new user, simply like that.
And Sam,
yeah.
Why do we not use insert one?
I'm sorry?
Why do we don't use insert one?
But we can use insert one. If we want, we can use insert one. It's fine. But now it's just another way to do it here. I'm here, what I'm doing, I'm just creating a new user. and I already have my module. Because I have my module, I can just create a new user, and then I can just save it. If I want to, I can use insert one, by the way. It is possible as well.
Because if we use insert one, we don't need to create on line 32 the new user. Only if the const new user, it will be object.
Let's
Yeah,
try.
and after that, it will be
Let's try
insert
it.
one.
Await. And now here is just no. We need to create a new user actually, because if we insert one, I don't think it will work.
Because on line 32, it's why we use new user and not just an object.
But new user here, I'm just creating a new user from my module here.
But why? Can we just create an object and after that find insert one?
No, because here is a module. When I create my module, to create a new user, I need to use a module. So it will be new user, then I will pass my data. That's how we create a new user, because I have the user module for a reason. So when I create the user module, I can now do a lot of stuff with this user module. And one of them here, when I want to create a new user, first I need to say new user, and then I need to save it simply like that.
Yeah, because before we learn the insert one to add a user, and now it's safe, so that's why it's confusing.
No, but you can use insert one if you already have a table or already have a user. But in this example here, I just have my module here. So I have my user module here, and all I need to do, actually, let's see if we have module.insert one. Let's try to see if that's possible or not. So let me try to do it here. Let's just remove this one. And here, let's just say await. So I need to use await anyway. Await, I can just say user. Here I can do create, but I can say insert one as well, I suppose. Insert. No, I just say insert one. Insert one, insert one, not many. And here I can just pass my data here. That should be working as well.
Okay, for me this one is more clear.
By the way, the most used way here actually it will be when we need to create a new user and then save it. But here what we are doing, we are waiting for my module user.insert one, and here we are trying to insert the email and the password, which will be the hash password. And if that's success, actually here I can just save it here, just say const new user, for example, new user. It should be like that here. And here I need to send now the new user if that's successful. So I'm just trying to, if something go wrong, it will go to the catch block. But if everything is okay, I will have a new user. So user.insert one. And then after that, I'm sending back the new user here. In MongoDB, you will notice this one here, we can do the same job using multiple different ways. So create user, I can use my module to create users and save it. I can insert one, I can insert many. So there's many different ways to do it. You need to get used to it. I think that should be fine here. Now here, I'm not gonna redirect to login. Why? Because my job here is just to send to the front end that the new user is being created, and after that, the front end need to redirect to login. And here my job is done. For login, well, I can just do the same. I can just say const to log in here. I need to email and password. And in here, when I have an email and password, first I need to check if user exists, of course. So it will be the same. It will be this. Come on. Check if user exists. To check if the user exists or not, I can just say const user exists. So it will be the same idea. Exist like that. And here I need to use await. I can use my module here, and here I can just say dot find one. And find one here, I need to pass the filter object here, which will be an email. Or I can just say email is equal to email, and now here, that should be fine. Now, if the user does not exist, that means I cannot log in the user because the user does not exist. So what I can do here, I can just say if no user exists. So I'm gonna send status 400 JSON message invalid credential, or I can just say user does not exist. Yeah, because I'm using here, let's just send does not exist. Please register or something like that. Anyway, it's really depend on the message I am sending. It's fine. And because I'm using return, I don't need the else block. Now, if I go to this one, this point here, that means the user already exists. Yes, the user is already registered. Now, I need to check if the password is correct. And in order to check if the password is correct, of course, I'm gonna use bcrypt. So all I have to do, I can just say bcrypt.compare the password, and here it will be the user exists.password. And in here I will have error or is valid as normally we do. And in here, let's just do this one, voila. Well, if I have an error as normal, so I can just say if error, I can just simply console.error the error. So let's say console.error the error, and here I can also send a status 500 say internal server error or something like that. Now here, the second one here, I can just say if is valid. If it's valid, that means simply my password and my hash password or the user password as the hash password, they does match. And if they match, that means the user credential is true. And now here, all I need to do now here to create a token. To create a token, I will need to use GWT. Of course, I can just say const token. It will be equal to GWT.sign. And here, when sign here, I need to pass first an object, which will be normally what we call the payload. So user email, or I can just pass the whole user if I want to. User exists, all of it if I want to. So I can just say user like that. And of course, for the secret guy here, I need to grab it from my database. So where is it? I'm missing something. I need to close this guy. No, this guy is closed. Process, that should be fine, actually. Yeah, I just need to close it. Voila. Oh, what I'm doing here? Yeah, because I have sign here. Yeah, so sign here, I need to close it, this one as well. That should be good. Yeah, but why I don't have this one?
Without the curly bracket at the end.
But I have, that's it, that's the curly brace, that's this one here. Actually, we don't need it, you are right. No, my mistake. Sorry. So for the token, GWT sign, and after that, I need to pass an object, and this object here, normally it will be the user data. That's why I submit user and user exist. And here it will include all the user objects. That's normally what we save in our token. All the information about the user, the email, the password, we don't need it, but the underscore ID, we need it. Okay, that's my token here. After I created my token, now what should I do?
Some it was not JWT secret, but token secret or something.
Yeah, I need to verify this one. So what I need to do here, I need to see it's token secret, actually, you are right. And you need to be careful with this one because it sometimes create a problem. So I will name it token secret here, and that should be fine. So after I created my token, and my token is here now, what do I need to do? I need to create. What do I need to create? Well, I need to create a cookie simply. So I can just say response.cookies. And here I'm passing my token, and I will make HTTP only true. If the environment production, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna make this guy true only, HTTP true for now. So let me put it here. Let me take this guy, cut it, and put it here. Okay, that should be fine. That's all I need, actually. Do I need something else? That's it. And so as you can see here, I'm creating my cookie. And maybe after that, I can send, when I create the cookie, maybe I can send some status here. So the front end status 200, for example. And here message say, logged in successful. And when the front end receives this message, then it will redirect, it will log in the user, and it will allow him to go to /API/books, for example. That should be okay. And yeah, if I have any error, if it's valid, everything it's fine, that should be good. Yeah, now for the logout here, it should be very simple. All I need to do, I need just to clear the cookie, and here I send the message rest status 200, message logout successfully. That's it. No more, no less. And like that, my user should be functional, everything. I need to test it, of course, so I'm gonna test it. Not now, when I'm finished with my books. So let's just keep it this way for now. Click, and now let's go to my books here. For the books, I'm gonna delete everything here. So let's try to do it together. It will be good practice for you. Here, I just need to know how many functions I need. So I need to go to my routes, and I will need get all books. Actually, I can just copy all of those, and I can put them inside here. Of course, they are not correct, but click. So here, this guy, it will be a function. So it will be async function. And I will need a request and response. And that should be it. For the rest, I need to do the same. So get book, let me cut it. And voila. Yes, actually get book, that should be fine. Let me just close it for now. Create book. And that should be okay. And update book, the same idea. Yeah. And then delete books. Voila. And now here I need to get rid of this extra stuff here. Okay. This one should be a function as well. Cool. Okay, now that's my my module book is here. And now here, what do I want to do? Well, I need to be able to get all book. I need to be able to get one book. I need to be able to create a book. I need to be able to update and delete book. And all of them, it will be async function, because all of them I need to deal with database. It's almost 12. Okay, fine. So the simplest one here, I just need to use try and catch here. Voila. So if I have an error, I will just send a status yes or s dot status. I can make it 500 status like that. And here just say message. I can take the error dot message here, or I can send my message, whatever I want to. Now here, what I need to do here, I need to grab all books. So I can just say const books, it's equal to await. And now here I can use my module book, and here I can use find. And when we use find without any filter object, it will give me all the books simply like that. And here, all I have to do, I need to send the book to the front end. No big, no less. So my job here in the backend, I need to send now the book to the front end, and then after that, the front end will loop through the data and show whatever is necessary. Now get a single book. When I'm trying to get single book, I will need an ID. So I will just say const ID. I will grab it from the param. So now here I will just say try and catch. And in try and catch, same idea here. I can just grab this guy here in case I have an error. Voila. And here I can just say const. And here I can just say single book, which will be await to book.find. I can use find one, or I can use find by ID and just pass the ID here. But I'm going to use find one here. So there's multiple possibility actually. If I use find one here, I need to pass the filter object. And remember here, I'm saying underscore ID, it's equal to the ID. So it's important because we don't have ID in MongoDB. Actually, it's underscore here. I've named it ID here, but the key or the key here is underscore ID. And that should be it. Now here, all I need to do, I need to send to the front end my book here. Remember your book, it will be an object or JSON, so I can just directly send it here. That should be fine. Easy? Yes?
Yeah.
Let's create a book. To create a book, of course, I need all the properties. So I need const title, I'm not sure what do I need. I think I had title, I had author, I had description. I'm not sure. And I had image, and I had. So I can just go back to my module here. And where is it? Where's my module? Okay, I have author, I have category and image. So click on this one and I have category, an image like that, and all of them, it will come from the request.body. Author is not correct. So let's make, come on. Voila. Should be good. Now here I can add multiple stuff here. Actually, I can add a check if I want to. So here what I can do, I can just use try and catch here if I want to directly. And here, if I have an error, same idea, I'm gonna just send status 500. So risk 500 and the message, it will be error.message, or you can write your own message. Here I can just add something. I can just say if no title or no author or no category or no image, I can send status 400 and say message all fields are required, for example. And I'm using a return here. And now, of course, you tell me why all of them are required, because in my module, I define this way: require true, require true, require true, require true. All of them need to be true. And what I'm checking here, I'm just checking if there is no title or no author or no category or no image, I will just send status 400. It's user error or client error. And I say all fields are required. And I'm using return, so here I don't need to use the else block. Now here to create a new book, what I need to create a new book, so I can just say new books, let's name it. It's equal to, again, I can now use new book like that, or I can insert one if you want to. So let's insert one, book.insert, insert one, insert one, and voila, that should be okay. And now here, if I'm gonna insert one, I need now to pass my data, of course. My data here, it will be title, author, and blah, 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 and this stuff here. And we'll have a new book. And now, of course, after that, I can just send status here, just say res.status. It will be 201 because I've created a new record and JSON new book. Remember the new book here, it will be an object simply like that. So I can insert one, or I can just create a new book and then save it. It's totally up to you. That should be okay. Update book. Update book here, I will need the ID. So const ID, and also I will need this guy here, title, author, category, image from the body. Then all I need here, I need try and catch block, try and catch. Everything now become repetitive after that. Error here, if I have an error, I will send status 500. Here, what I can do here, I can just say const. Or I don't even need to save it here. If I want to update, I can just say await book.update one. And here to update one here, first I need to pass which book. So it will be underscore, that's here the filter object, underscore book. It will be, so underscore book, underscore ID, it will be the ID. And here I can pass my data. That's one way. Or if I want to, I can now use set if I want to. But I think this one here, it's much easier than set, right? Yes? Yes, no?
Well, but you can see a set, maybe. It will be nice.
I'm sorry?
You can see set, maybe. It will be nice to see how it works.
Okay, let's use set. Don't be sad. So we are passing this one, and a second one here, I will need underscore set. And here I can just set whatever I want. Voila. So I'm setting here the title, the author, the category, everything. And because all of those have the same value, I don't have to repeat them. So I don't have to say title is equal to title. It's repetitive, it's the same. Or author is equal to author because it was one value actually. Author like that. Category is equal to category. And image, it will be equal to image. And you have set here. Voila. And now after I create this one here, all I need to do now, I need to send status 200, book updated successfully. I have some error here. I don't know what's it. Yeah, I did not close this one. Okay. Of course, you need to test all of those here after that. Delete, I need an ID as well. So I will need an ID, and after that here, I can use try and catch. And if I have an error, I'm gonna send this status. And here, what I can do here, I can just say await. And here I need to say book.delete one, and I'm just passing the ID. That should be okay. Of course, here I just need to sense book deleted successfully, simply like that. Like that, all my controller should be fine. For user, it should be fine. All my backend is almost finished, and I need to do the front end. I'm not going to do the front end for you. You can try to do it. And yeah, you have today and tomorrow I can help you actually. Because it's almost 12. So let's go to Postman. Let's try to do the register one here. So it should be 5004 API/register, right? And here the method should be post. And when I'm trying to register, I need to add body. I need to add row, and here JSON. So what do I need to add here? I need to, when I'm trying to register, I need to add the email. And the email here, it will be sam@gmail.com, for example. I need the password. And the password here, I will enter user 1234 exclamation mark. And I need also repassword. Repassword here also, it will be the same. So I just need to add here. And I can just copy this guy here. Voila. Let's try to beautify it a little bit. And now all I have to do, I need to send a request. And as you can see, the message here, I have nothing. I have bad request. So let's see what's going on here. User sum in books, yes. Invalid on expected token. Yeah, it looks like I have some slash in somewhere. In book.js in controller, it looks like I have some slash. Really, where is the slash? I don't see any slash.
Go line 67, say.
67. No, I don't see any stuff here. No. If that's the case, it should show me an error actually. No, actually it's okay, but I'm sending a post API to register, but it's not working. So let me go to user and see what the hell is going on here in register. So I don't know what's going on. So what I can do simply, I can just close my guy here. And now what I can do, I can debug my code. So let me just go put a breakpoint here. Let's go to debug and let's launch here. And that should be good. Let's go here. I'm gonna just change the place of this one with this one. And now let's send another request as API/register, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes, it should be correct. So let's click on this one while it hits this one. So let me flip on this one. I have the email. It's sam@gmail.com. I have the password. Yes, user 12345. User 12345. That should be okay. So I don't have any problem here. Let's try to have, does this one user exist? Does the user exist? No, the user does not exist. So this condition, it will be false, simple. So it will go now here. So let's try to do this one, do this one, do this one. So email is valid, true. Is valid password, yes. Well, all of them are okay. So let's try to do this one now. I will try to hash my password. So let's click on this one. My password is being hashed. app.user.insert one. So when I'm trying to insert one, it looks like the problem is with this one here. So let's try to do that. And let's try to click on this one. So as you can see, it's moving directly to this point here. It does not allow me to insert one, Agnieszka. So what I need to do actually, I need to create the user and then I need to save it actually. Otherwise it will not work. So what I need to do here, I can just say const new user. It will be equal to, I need to say await user.create, and here it will be email and this one, and after that I need to save. So I say new user.save, new user.save. And now let's try to do it again. So I'm gonna put my breakpoint well, I don't need breakpoint actually. Let's just send another request here. Let me go here. Voila. I will send it again. So let's click. Voila. And here, new user here. Let's try to jump over it. And it's working. And voila, now I got my result. So it was the third one here is not working. Because simply when I'm trying to add the new user, I'm just adding an object. I'm not creating really a module. So I need to create the module. Then I need to try to save it. And here, let me just get rid of this mode. I don't need it anymore. I don't need launch. And let me run my server again. Tick. And now here, if I go here, as you can see now, see, I have email, Sam, I have the passwords being hashed, ID, that's the ID, and version here. This version belongs to MongoDB versioning, you don't need to worry about. So to create a new user, I cannot use insert one. I need to create a new user. So await user.create, and I will pass my data here. It will create a new user. Then I need to save it. And I think here to save, do I need await here or not? I don't think I need await, but I'm going to add await anyway. Let's try to add a new user. And here I will just say Jack. Same password, same password. So let's try to send it again. And voila, as you can, Jack is being created, and I don't have any problem like that at all. Now, if I go to my MongoDB Compass, so I will go here. And now here, if I go to refresh, do I have refresh here? I should have refresh somewhere. Where is my refresh? No, I need to refresh here. So click. And I should have refresh voila here. So if I refresh now, I have books, as you can see. Click on that. Now I have user. If I click on the user, and as you can see, now I have two new users. When I create them, they're automatically is being created here. Voila. For the book here, I did not test it yet, so I don't have any data, but user is working perfectly. Two users is being created. I have the password. I have everything. Everything is great. Is it okay, guys? Yes. So when you try to create user, do not try to insert. Insert is not gonna work. You need to use await user.create, and you need to pass your data. Remember, this one must be hash passwords. Then you need to wait until you save it, and that's it. Login here, I can log in actually. I can test login because I already have a user. So it's both the same, but instead of register, I can just use login. And here I just need to pass the password and the the email and the password. That's it. I don't need anything else. Send. Login successfully. That's great. And now if I go to the cookies here and I wait a little bit, let's open it again. And as you can see, I have my cookie with token here, as you can see. And this token here is HTTP only, and it also includes some user data, whatever. So I was able to log in successfully. I was able to do that. Now I want to log out. So in order to log out, actually I need to be logged in to create stuff, but it's fine. Log out. Let me test log out as well. The method is still post. If I click on that and log out successfully, as you can see, which is great. I've tested the user. Everything is fine here. I need now to test my books. And as we see now, when we're trying to create a book here, this guy, this guy is not gonna work. So I need to use new book is equal to await book dot create, or maybe what was the syntax here? So new book here, and now here I just need to pass my data, which was title, book, stuff like that. And here, of course, I need to wait until save it. And here it's new book, yes. And then here is the most important, I need to wait until I am saving it. Voila, that should be good. Actually, if I go to my users here, when I created a user, where is it? 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 Where I'm creating a user? When I'm creating a user, actually, I don't need a wait here. I don't need a wait because I'm just creating the user. But when I'm using save, I need to use a wait here. And I can just try again if I want to. I mean, if I try to register just to make sure, register. And in here, I need Jane. I don't have Jane, so I just add Jane, and as a user password is the same. So let's click. And it's look like I
And
have.
repassword.
Repassword.
Yeah, you're right. So let's add the repassword here. And here, I need to handle this situation as well. Repassword should be correct. And here, let's just cancel it. Log out successful. I don't care about that. Password, repassword, everything should be correct. Click. And as you can see, I have the message. And I'm not sure if what I'm passing the message. No, that's not true. That's not true. User.create, actually, that should be okay. Oh, wait, use new user.save. For some reason, oh, wait, new user. Let me use await here as well and see if the guy is gonna work or not. So let's try again. Click. User already exists. No, actually, it's been created. So I don't really need await here. So I don't really need to use this one here. The user is already being created. But what's happening here is the reason why I'm getting the message here, because the user is being created, but is not waiting really for the user to create. I'm coming to here. And then the reason the message is just empty. I don't have any error, it's just going here. So actually it would be a good idea to add a wait again. That's fine. Should be fine now. Let's add another user. Let's name it JSON. And I will use the same password and repassword. So let's click. And as you can see, I have my data. If I go to my MongoDB here and I refresh this one, which I should have refreshed like that. And as you can see, I have multiple users. I have Jane, I have JSON, everything should be fine. Let's go to the books now. I think it was API books. And here I need to be able to first post a book. That's the most important one because I don't have any books. So let me go to books here, get all, get one. And here I need to be able to, I need to be able to add create a new book. So to create a new book, I'll need all these value actually. And just go here and I need to do that. I need to add this one. So here it should be something like that. I mean, JSON should be like that. This one should be like that, and image should be like that. Now here, of course, I need to add another value. And in here, I need to add another value. And voila. Let's try to beautify it a little bit. And here for the title, let me go here. And here, suggest nice books. Yeah. Let's use, for example, Harry Potter, for example. No, that's a series of books. So let's before this one here, I'm gonna choose this guy here, Me Before You. That's the title. And I need to go now to here. The title is Me Before You. Who's the author? The author is, I think it's Juju. Yeah, it's this guy here. Let's copy image address first. Voila. Category, I don't know what the hell is category. So let me just use one of those here. Here it's, let's say, romance or something. And the author, oh, is my author? Yes, Juju, this one, but I cannot just copy this guy. Okay, no, it should be fine. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, that's the author. I just need to copy your name. So allow me to copy your name. Voila. And let's just go here, and that's the author. And let's just say romance. I don't know what if it's romance or not, but it doesn't matter. So slash book here, I think the API is correct. So if I click, and as you can see, it's returned a new book for me, Me Before You, Juju Moyes, category romance, and I have image, I have specific ID. So let me add another book also. So I have just 2 books. Let me see if I have another books here. All the Bright Places or something. Yeah, I'm gonna just go in here. That's my title. And author is Jennifer. This one. It's B12. Ah, shit, it's 12.4. So, okay, guys, let's just test them. And after that, I will give you a long category. I don't know what's the category again. But all the Bright Places. So copy image address. And for me, I just need to add this guy here. Voila. So now I have at least 2 books. So with test post, that's good. I want to test get, which will be all books. That means I'll not need this one actually. Oh, well, maybe I'll need it, but anyway, let's send this one here. I can, as you can see, I have an array with both books here. If I want to get the book with ID, this ID here, so all I need to do here, I just need to copy this guy, I suppose. And in here, I just need to pass the ID like that, and it should give me one of those book. And indeed, it give me one of this book. So get all book, get book, post book, all of them is working. Now what I need to do here, I need to be able to update a book. So let me go into this one and add this one. The title is All the Bright Places here. Maybe I can just change all the nice places. And of course here, it's not just romance, let's say fiction. I'm not gonna change the stuff, the URL here. So I will just try to test it here. That's my ID. So let's click on that. And as you can see, book updated successfully. It's perfect. And now here I will try to delete this book here, for example, one of those. So I will just go to delete. And if I click on delete, and the book deleted successfully. So now all my stuff is working perfectly. As you can see, everything is working here. Get book, all of them are working. Like that, my backend should be finished. And I need to do my front end. So your job, it will be in the second half, you need to try to build your backend, make it working. And of course, you already have a lot of stuff already, but you need to go through them. You need to validate the user or everything. And you need to use Postman to test all of them. And yeah, that's it. So just for today, you need to make sure that your backend is working. Now tomorrow, I will start with the front end and we will do some React. I will build the front end 1 time or 2 times with you, just so you know how it works. And after that, you should be able to do yourself, because the course is, actually we have 2 weeks, maybe you can spend more time, it's fine.